If you're new to our channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Coming up on the program today, it's about why you garden, who influenced you. We'll share with you our stories.
And then we have the Mittleider garden method. That's a unique method of gardening. We'll talk about that. And then we have guest Jan Bujan she's from the website In the Garden with Grandma. She talks about the importance of having children in the garden.
As well as your garden questions. And all that starts right now. It is the Wisconsin Vegetable Garden Radio Show on 860 AM WNOV and W293 CX 106.5. So happy you've taken a little time out of your Saturday to join us on the program. Whether you're listening through the TuneIn app, the Simple Radio app, or anywhere in between, possibly through the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com website. I am your host, Joey Baird. Beside me is my wife, co-host, best friend, and gardening partner.
Hi, Baird.
The WisconsinVegetableGardener.com is our website where it contains over 1,200 garden videos, short and long format, all to help you grow more. There's a number of ways in which you can contact the program. One is you can email us at twvgshow@gmail.com. You can use our Twitter handle at twvg, or you can call into the Ivy Organics 3-in-1 Plant Guard hotline.
Ivy Organic 3-in-1 Plant Guard naturally protects plants against damaging sunburn, insects, and rodents, protects newly installed plants and trees, shields pruned and damaged surfaces for use on your roses, fruit and nut trees, ornamental trees, and shrubs. This product is non-toxic, environmentally safe, and organic. For more information, you can visit ivyorganics.com. And again, you can call in to that line at 414-444-5250.
That's right. We're going to start the program out. It's about who influenced you in gardening and why. You're welcome to call in. We're wanting to hear your stories. The phone lines are open, easy access, immediate access on the line with us at 414-444-5250. We're going to tell you our stories, and then we hope to hear from you. Holly, why don't we start with you? Who influenced you to garden and why? Or where did that come from?
I don't know if it was an influence as much. Maybe it was an influence, but I grew up in basically in West Dallas, and we had a small lot.
Yeah, it wasn't like a farm or...
Oh, heck no.
No.
I think people on some city lots had bigger lots, but we had a tiny lot. It was like I would refer to it as the size of a postage stamp.
Okay.
So, but we had this small garden. It was about 4x4, and we had a compost pile. I'm not really sure where that came from, but that's okay. It was nice to learn about composting and what to do with your food scraps and whatnot. But anyway, we didn't start plants. I didn't realize that there were plant starts that you could buy and or start. We would just put our seeds in the ground on Memorial Day weekend.
Didn't matter what it was.
Didn't matter. No, just that's what happened. So, and we always had peas. We always had zucchini, tomatoes, and usually peppers. I think peppers kind of depended on the summer, but I remember those. And then I kind of got away from gardening after I became, let's say, an adult. And
an entrepreneur?
An entrepreneur. Is that what it is?
I guess that's what you did for a while.
Well, I lived downtown for a while, so there was like no gardening going on there.
And you weren't familiar with balcony gardening or anything like that?
No.
Container gardening?
No. So, but I always did go to farmers markets because I always belonged to co-ops, food co-ops. So when I lived in La Crosse, I belonged to theirs, and now I belong to Outpost. So the importance of local food and being involved with your food was important to me as well. And my parents are cool people. They took us to like the landfill to show us where our trash went to. They were very like big on recycling, reusing, repurposing, and I think that's where you and I really connected when we first started dating. Was not just the gardening aspect, but the being like good stewards of the earth.
And with that small garden, it wasn't no level of we're going to can this up. It was just had enough for a meal or slice of tomato up type of thing.
Right. We would make a zucchini bread.
Well, anybody that grows a zucchini understands you put one zucchini in, you get about 700 pounds of zucchini off one plant, you're good to go.
Yeah.
And you just got to harvest it at the right time. Well, I grew up on a farm in southern Illinois. Some of you have heard this story, and this is new to some of you.
How big of a farm, Joey?
1,000 acres.
And
at the point,
and what kind of farm was it? Was it a dairy farm?
No, it was not a dairy farm. It was a beef farm. At the time that I was still there, we had about 2,000 hogs, pigs. We had 300 head of cattle, 1,000 tillable acres. Now current time, there's still 1,000 tillable acres. They've up to about 500 head of cattle. They've gotten rid of the hogs altogether, because the market has went through to a commercial standard. In the mid-'90s, we were the top 5 largest privately owned family hog farm in the state of Illinois. Mm-hmm. So there was a lot going on there. But we always had a garden. It didn't matter, grandma, us, whatever, we had a garden. And the garden was probably what you see in our videos, about 1,800 square feet, probably a little bit more, good size. We always had, now it wasn't an organic gardening like we would say organic gardening is. It was, we used the manure, age of manure for the compost. We used fertilizer. I think we used, it was whatever was available at the farm store, 10, 10, 10, triple 13, whatever the case was. And we always grew everything. Now, tomatoes was the staple, peppers, beans. We had grapevines, berry bushes, blackberry bushes, but we didn't, eggplant wasn't a thing that we grew. Kohlrabi was a hit and miss thing. Pumpkins we didn't grow really. Sweet corn we always grew because we always mixed it in with the agricultural farm, corn. So we always had a large corn crop there. So it was always something, it wasn't something that was focused on, okay, we're going to spend time in the garden every day, because the primarily focus was the farm. The garden was, we took time, but it wasn't something that we spent hours. It wasn't our sole purpose.
No, but I remember when we were dating, you had your own little garden.
Right.
And you would bring me tomatoes.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's how you knew that was the way to my heart.
Yeah, the tomatoes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how you won me over. But so that's interesting that you had it was. You say it wasn't a priority, but I've seen your parents' garden, your grandparents' garden, and it's definitely something that they're very good at.
Well, on all farms, I can't speak for everybody, but everybody that I was aware of, in dairy farm up here in Wisconsin, if you had a farm, you had a garden.
Oh, yeah.
Because you had the land available.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like, okay, well, we'll just go to the store and buy the tomatoes that taste like cardboard. You grew your own because that was something that was passed down. You had the space. The garden had been there since 1921 type of situation where you always had somewhere to grow, and you preserved it because farmers...
So talk about that a little bit.
With the preserving?
Yeah.
Okay. Farmers most farmers, I speak from what experience I know, they don't have a farm because they're making millions upon millions of dollars. They do it because it was something that they were passed down. It's what they love to do. They love to provide. And that's all they really, they've got an investment. Now, some farmers have decided to rent out to other larger entities to their property. But anyway, but they do it because they love to do it. We preserved, we canned, water bath canned. We never pressure canned. We always water bath canned. Ketchup was all the time, was something that we did. Green beans was water bath at the time. Now the National Home for Food Preservation.
Yeah, the National Center for Home Food Preservation says you have to pressure can your green beans.
You can dilly bean them.
Yeah, you can
make dilly bean. Yeah, mm-hmm. You can freeze them, but we always water bath them. So it was always process all the summer to preserve what we were growing. Grape jam, grape jelly, grape juice.
You have grapevines.
Grapevines.
And what's the other one? Is it blackberries?
Blackberries is a big thing that they have now.
Mm-hmm.
Potatoes, we always had, a couple of 100 feet of potatoes that we would harvest throughout the summer. It wasn't like we do now in our videos where we harvest the whole patch because we need that space for the next thing to go in.
You had the space.
We had the space, mm-hmm. So they just sat in the ground and kind of stayed in dormancy. Now, by the end of the year, we'd harvest up what was left over before the frost or freeze come. But we would, and the weeds were always there because we never weeded. We weeded, but it wasn't like, okay.
It wasn't a priority.
It wasn't a priority.
Right. You were busy doing the farm stuff.
Right. It was the survival of the fittest,
right.
Which that's kind of how that works out.
The reason why I asked if it was a dairy farm is because when I tell people here in Wisconsin that you come from a farm. They're like,
Well,
because
a
dairy farm.
That's the instant thing.
Right.
Yeah. Because if you didn't have a dairy farm, I guess you wasn't considered a farmer. I don't know.
It's just because it's the dairy state.
Okay. Yeah, I know. But yeah, we always had a garden, and plus, when we tell people, well, how big should a garden be? Well, get something in which you can manage.
And that's just it. Like us being city people, and my parents worked, and especially my mom short 2 jobs, so we didn't have time to manage a large garden. And as teenagers, even though we were involved, we were still teenagers, and we had friends and wanted to not be sitting in the backyard gardening necessarily all weekend or whatever. So that's what we did. We had grocery stores, within walkable distance and whatnot.
And that was the thing. A grocery store for us was 20-minute drive.
Right. Yeah. I have been there plenty of times. So that's why it was different for us. But it's still, I'm grateful for it because it gave me, skills and an idea of where food comes from and that it's growing in the ground. And some people don't have that. A lot of city kids these days don't necessarily think about that kind of stuff.
Oh, and it's, you want to know, when you ask people, why do you garden? Or when people ask you, why do you garden? You want to have a realistic answer. The answer of, I don't know. Then you really need to reevaluate a lot of things in your life.
Well,
because,
maybe it's just a nice hobby for you.
Well, and that's the thing. It's a hobby. Mm-hmm. It's something that's been passed down. Aunt, whoever, uncle, grandma taught me how to do this. Now, I just do this because when we start doing things in life just because, we need to reevaluate where our priorities are setting, because then we're just going to do whatever whenever we want for no apparent reason, and the outcome may not be what we expect.
Yeah, but sometimes if it's just something that you enjoy, maybe...
And that's the thing. If you say, I enjoy it, okay, good.
Right.
That type of thing. Well, when we come back, we're going to go over a topic in which some of you may have never heard of, and it's new to many people. It's called the Mittleider gardening method. It's been around since the 70s, and we're going to go over what it is, how it works, and the reasons why Holly and I do not practice this particular garden method. Right after this.
24/7, 365. The WisconsinVegetableGardener.com has all the gardening information you need, videos, digital magazines, replays of shows, and more.
Beans and Barley Market and Cafe, a neighborhood specialty grocery store for the east side and greater Milwaukee area, where you can find all you need, from fresh produce to bakery to organic frozen dinners, from wine to fresh squeezed carrot juice, a health food store with hundreds of products, vitamins, supplements, bath and body items, magazines, cards, books, and a knowledgeable staff. Catering available, open daily at 8 a.m. The restaurant serves breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week with a menu of good, healthy, homemade food, including vegetarian and non-vegetarian specialties. 1901 East North Avenue, Milwaukee, 414-278-7878, and online at beansandbarley.com.
The Tree Diaper is an advanced plant hydration system. It is an innovative device that captures and holds the water around your plants once full and hydrates them slowly when the plants need it over a period of 30 days. From half to 30-gallon capacity based on your needs. And easy to install even for a first-time gardener. The Tree Diaper reduces weeds, protects plants, enhances root growth, and prevents overwatering. Whether you're growing trees, vegetables, flowers, houseplants, in containers, or the ground, your plants will benefit greatly by allowing the Tree Diaper to do the work for you. Find out more at treediaper.com. Made in the USA.
The Handy Safety Knife is a patented, high-quality knife that's worn like a ring, so it's always conveniently at hand and very easy and efficient to work with. That's why you'll find the Handy Safety Knife at work in a wide range of industries and applications. Learn more at handysafetyknife.com. Place an order for your business. Call toll-free 866-294-3424.
Use coupon code WVG to get 10% off and free shipping, one-time use only at handysafetyknife.com. Shield and Seal vacuum sealers and the highest quality vacuum sealing products, unique black and clear and all black bags, protecting your produce and product better than traditional bags. Find out more at shieldandseal.com. Root Assassin, a garden tool that does all the root functions with its advanced shovel that has serrated edges on both sides. Find out more information at rootassassinshovel.com. A sunflower more than just one flower? This garden fun fact is sponsored by ManureTea.com. Get your 3-pack today. Drop the tea bag in water, let steep, and feed your soil, not your plants. 100% organic. Find out more at manuretea.com. Always free shipping. Sunflowers are some people's favorite flowers, and you may look at it as being one single flower. But both the fuzzy brown center and the classic yellow petals are actually 1,000 to 2,000 individual flowers held together by one single stalk. Rebel Green, responsibly made natural products that are good for you and the environment. Made in the USA, plant-based, vegan, and always toxic-free. Find out more at rebelgreen.com. Use coupon code WIVEG15 to save 15% off your next purchase at rebelgreen.com/shop.
Blue Mel's Garden and Landscape Center offers an awesome selection of high-quality garden and landscape products. We have just the plants you're looking for: annuals, perennials, veggies, herbs, and more. Plus, you can always count on us to answer all of your questions and offer expert advice. Blue Mel's also carries the largest selection of bulk landscape materials in the area. Enjoy a beverage from our coffee shop while your kids run around in our huge playground. Join our growing list of highly satisfied customers. Visit the garden center that offers everything you're looking for. Visit Blue Mel's today.
Blue Mel's, 4930 West Loomis Road, 414-282-4220. The Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener is brought to you by the following: Handy Safety Knife, BioSafe, Tall Earth, CHAPIN International, The Plant Booster, Ivy Organics, Woodman's Market, Blue Mel's Landscape and Garden Center. Find all sponsors at the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com and thank them for their support.
Now back to the Wisconsin Vegetable Garden Radio Show with your hosts, Joey and Holly Baird.
There's all different types of gardening methods and techniques, from raised beds to ground garden to container gardening to hydroponics to aquaponics. And there's another one called the Mittleider gardening method, which some people swear by. Some people believe it's the go-to of all go-tos garden methods. We're going to go over what it is and then the reasons why we choose not to particularly practice this method of gardening on our location of our little piece of land.
Right. So the Mittleider, Mr. Mittleider came up with this method in the mid-70s-ish, and he was from the West, so he was from like Utah and then eventually moved to California. So I didn't look into why he came up with this method, but I have a feeling it was probably because of possibly soil.
Well, also, if we look at a different method, the square foot garden method, Mel Bartholomew, he created that one in the 60s, early 70s to maximize square foot planting to get more in one spot. So It may have been one of these things that it was a necessity.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
But Mittleider also did a lot of hydroponics, which is when you grow in the water. If you're not familiar, you grow your plants, you add the nutrients to the water, and that's how your plants grow. So that's, this is probably where part of the soilless, because this is a soilless method of gardening, and what you end up with is about 50 to 75% sawdust, or you could use like peat moss, and then about 50 to 25% sand, perlite, or styrofoam pellets.
So it's a soilless growing method, but that is the medium which the plants attach themselves to.
Right.
And then
Yeah. So you have a box, like you're not just going to put this on the ground.
This is basically a container.
Yeah, a container or like a raised bed type situation. You're not going to just put this stuff on the ground and hope that it doesn't blow away
wash away.
Wash away. So you're going to do like a box type situation, and then what you do is you put the heavier stuff like the sand in the bottom, and then you put the sawdust or the peat moss on top. Now, peat moss, if you're not familiar, it's a great filler.
It retains moisture very well.
It retains moisture very well. However, there's no nutrients in peat moss.
It does have that retaining moisture to it. And people will say, oh, we don't want to use peat moss because it's destroying the bogs. We're going to use cocoa coir, which is the ground up cocoa fibers of the coconut industry. But the peat bog thing is not really accurate.
It also depends on where you live. In the UK, they have peat bogs that are just overflowing with this peat, and it's good to use it there because it's there's so much of it.
Right, and if you're on the coast, obviously cocoa coir is much more readily available than shipping stuff from Canada.
But he used sawdust.
Okay.
So that's what you're doing. So then what you need to do is you need to feed the plants. So they're getting the nutrients from what you're putting into that mixture. It's not really a mixture; it's like a layer.
Right.
But what? Yeah.
In traditional organic gardening, you make the soil healthy, which feeds the plants, and that's how the rotation goes.
But so this is going back to kind of like his hydroponic thinking.
Okay.
He has a medium, and he's putting the nutrients in there to feed the plants.
Right.
So it makes sense in that way.
And there's thousands upon thousands of people do this. Facebook pages, websites. Yeah. This is not just something that 7 people in the Pacific Northwest practice on a regular basis. This is a regular thing.
I think one benefit here is you probably don't have a lot of weeds.
Because you don't have
any soil.
And what weeds are there is easy to remove, just like putting compost in a raised bed.
Or like the straw bale method.
The straw bale method, right.
But the straw bale method, I like it because you're taking that straw bale and you're making it into basically a living being of a sort.
You're feeding the organisms.
Feeding the organisms to allow that to become what's feeding your plants. You're not feeding your plants. So it's like you have a host and you're feeding the host to feed your plants.
Right.
Is what it is. Anyway, so then you have to add, it's 16 different nutrients that get added, and you can make your own mix. Now you can buy it online, but what it is essentially is Epsom salt, and then you need like a 16-8-16 fertilizer, like a 20-10-20, or even like a 16-16-16, and NPK, that's nitrogen, potassium, or nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. And those are 3 vital nutrients to any. Yeah,
those are the essential nutrients. Yeah. Then there's subnutrients and micronutrients. And this is where a lot of the traditional organic gardeners do not like this method, because they're saying there's only 16 nutrients in which this particular method indicates that is needed for the plants to grow. If you watch or listen to or read about organic gardening, you've got the 3 main nutrients, which you just spoke about, the NPK. Then you've got 20
calcium, magnesium,
magnesium, copper. You've got up to 110 micronutrients, which the plant can use to better develop and get better fruit production. Vitamins, minerals, all of that.
Right. So then along with the three major ones, the NPK, then it has calcium, magnesium, sulfur. So that's 6 that you have. Then the Epsom salt, which is basically more magnesium. So that's 7. And then you have 9 other trace elements. I did a lot of research. It doesn't really say what trace elements there are, but basically the bulk of it is going to be your NPK, your calcium, magnesium, sulfur, and then the Epsom salt. The Epsom salt, if you're adding magnesium, Epsom salt is magnesium. That doesn't quite make sense to me, but
and this is something, from what you have found and what I have found, there is not go to this website, this is how you create this mix. This is a commercially reliable mix that you have to physically go purchase.
Yeah, you have to purchase it. You can make your own.
Okay.
But it's, from what I've read, it's like, it's not where, sometimes if you make your own, you're saving money. It's not really that. Either way, you have to, it's a cost. And I think that's why, a lot of people don't like it.
Because they continually have to spend money.
Because you have to feed your plants weekly.
Right.
So, like, for example, when we fertilize in the beginning, the mid-season, and then, we add leaves to the garden in the fall, which is essentially a part of fertilization.
We're feeding the soil.
We're feeding the soil, right?
With this, you can't feed the soil because there's no soil to feed. You have to create a liquid, essentially, or a material that can break down to the point where the plants can uptake it within that time frame.
And I even said to Joy, I said, feed your plants once a week. I'm like, no, that's too much work for me. But, however, building your soil might be too much work for you. So I think it just kind of depends on what type of gardener you are, how you understand soil science. I understand soil science in great depth. But if you're just like, I want something simple and easy, I would personally probably go the hydroponic route if you're going to invest this type of money.
Right.
But it definitely is something to think about if you are like, hey, maybe I want to try something new.
And this is not something we practice, but from what we've seen and people that we've followed and read about, this is a phenomenal method of gardening, and it works for them. Not all gardening methods or techniques is perfect for everybody. It's based on your region, based on your needs, based on sometimes your finances, on whether or not a particular system or technique will work best for you.
Definitely. So, you have to think about that kind of stuff.
So that is the Mittleider gardening method. Well, when we come back,
we're going to have Jan Bujan. So we had a little situation with our guest. Our original guest fell through, so we found her. We're glad we found her. We were
recommended by her.
We were recommended. She is gardening with Grandma.
Yeah, we'll be right. We'll be with her. She will be with us right after this.
Got a question? Email the show at twvgshow@gmail.com.
Haas Tools wants to help you grow your own food. From seed starting supplies, hand tools, drip irrigation, harvesting equipment, and a complete line of all-natural pest control solutions, they've got you covered. Keep your garden weed-free with their time-tested, American-made wheel hose that are built to last a lifetime. And their precision garden seeders have proven design for planting a wide variety of seeds. Haas Tools has what you need to get the most out of your growing space, large or small. Free shipping and outstanding customer service. Shop online or request a free catalog at HaasTools.com.
I know you're looking for an alternative to harsh chemicals, but you want professional strength products. BioSafe's garden line gives you just that. Professionally used for 20 years, available to homeowners. Organic solutions that are effective. They offer an array of eco-friendly products, from plant food, fertilizer, to one-of-a-kind herbicides, organic weed killer. BioSafe's products can be used around children, pets, wildlife, so you can enjoy your yard more. Grow stronger, healthier with BioSafe. Find us on Facebook at BioSafe Home and Garden, and visit us at biosafe.net to learn more. Get 10% off your next purchase at biosafe.net by using coupon code TWVG at checkout.
Pomona's Universal Pectin is high-quality pectin that gels reliably with low amounts of any sweetener. If you're trying to reduce the amount of sugar in your diet, you'll love Pomona's Universal Pectin. Now you can make healthy homemade jams and jellies sweetened to your taste. You can use sugar, honey, or any alternative sweetener you'd like. Pomona's Universal Pectin keeps indefinitely when stored in an airtight container. Easy to use, versatile, and comes with directions and recipes in every box. Find out more and where to buy at PomonaPectin.com. Available at most natural food stores and online.
Flame Engineering, home of the Weed Dragon, the perfect propane torch kit for home and garden use. For killing weeds, no need to pull or spray. 100 other uses. Find out more at flameengineering.com. Purple Cow Organics quickly and naturally increases the uptake of nutrients and water to your plants with their new bioactive vegetable supercharger designed to meet the unique needs by helping the living organisms in the soil help plants uptake the nutrients more quickly through their roots and leaves. Find out more at purplecoworganics.com. The Gardener's Hollow Leg, the debris and harvesting bag you wear, comes with its own belt attachment, perfect for doing light pruning, weeding, harvesting on the ground or on a ladder, and many other uses. Find out more at thegardenershollowleg.com. Save 10% by using the word veggies at checkout. The number one key to healthy, productive plants are the roots. Starting from seed to full-grown plants, rootmaker.com has the answer. From seed starting trays with an innovative design that air prunes the roots, creating a fabulous root system, never again will you have root-bound plants, to multiple gallon grow bag sizes to raised beds. Rootmaker.com has your grow needs covered. Visit rootmaker.com. Do you have a problem with deer or small herbivores eating your vegetation? There is a natural solution that is safe for your pets and family. Bobex is the answer. An environmentally friendly solution to protect your plants, will not wash off, and is guaranteed. Bobex Deer was independently tested against 9 known competitors and rated 93% effective, second only to a physical barrier. Bobex can be used on all types of ornamentals, trees, and shrubs. Ask for it by name at your local independent garden center. Find out more, visit Bobex.com. BOBBEX.com. The Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show is brought to you by the following: Haas Tools, Tree Diaper, Rootmaker, Seeding Square, Rebel Green, Dripping Springs Oil, Zaz Products, Shield and Seal, Pomona Universal Pectin. Find all sponsors at the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com and thank them for their support.
Now back to the Wisconsin Vegetable Garden Radio Show with your hosts, Joey and Holly Baird.
There's a lot of things going on in the city of Milwaukee. Blue Mills Landscape and Garden Center is one of them, and they have all the things you need: bulk material, landscape, Coming up, we'll talk about they're going to have two.
They're going to have some market days.
Yeah, market days.
And it's the last 2 Saturdays of August.
Yeah, they're going to have crafts. They're going to have like a farmer's market atmosphere. They're going to have a lot of things going on there. As more details come out, we will be there both days. They're on Saturdays. We will.
I think it's the 18th and the 25th.
Okay.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and it's from 9 to 1 or 9 to 2. Somewhere in that realm. And
go to bluemills.com.
Go to bluemills.com and they have all the information there.
And if you still need mulch, landscape material, sand, gravel, they have
and
all
I'm
of
sure
that.
They'll have fall plants pretty close to in about a month from now, if not sooner.
And if you just want a good cup of coffee, they have the coffee shop on the premise as well. You can find all of that at 4930 West Loomis Road, just off of Layton. And find them at bluemills.com. You can call them at any time, 414-282-4220. Well, Holly, let's go to the Ivy Organics 3-in-1 Plant Guard hotline and bring in our next guest.
Jan Bujan is a blogger on In the Garden with Grandma, which is a website devoted to gardening with children and helping to grow the gardeners of tomorrow. It's a place where families are encouraged to unplug their devices and together plug into Mother Nature instead. Welcome to the program, Jan.
Thank you so much for having me, Holly and Joey, because I've been a listener of your podcast and radio show for the last couple of years, so it's fun to be here with you.
Well, we appreciate you taking time out of your day to share some of your gardening knowledge and wisdom with all of us.
Great.
So how did you, the show is kind of focused today on who influenced us to get into gardening and why. So we'll ask you that question. How did you get into gardening? And talk about how and who influenced you and why you chose to go that route of gardening.
Okay. Well, my answer will probably not surprise you, because I know when I ask gardeners this question, many times the answer is my grandmother. And that surely was the case for me. Now, I come from a long line of gardeners, including my parents and my aunts and uncles. So it really was a strong part of our family's identity. But my biggest influence was my Croatian grandmother. And when I was growing up, I spent a lot of time with her. We called her Majka, which means mother in Croatian, and she was just an amazing woman. Like most other women of that generation, she really did it all. She had a beautiful garden with fruits and vegetables and flowers, and she cooked and she baked, and she either canned or fermented everything that came out of the garden. And I loved going over to her house to play with my sister and brother in the garden. And I guess the word that I want to emphasize here is play, because that is what children love to do. Now, I'm sure I probably, quote unquote, helped in the garden a little bit, but mostly I remember it as a place where I was allowed to play and pretend. And I especially loved to pick things out of the garden. And one special memory I have was when I was probably 7 or 8 years old, and my grandma let me pick a kohlrabi. And she took a really sharp paring knife, and somehow, and you know how difficult this is because you're gardeners, somehow she peeled that kohlrabi in one long, unbroken curl, and she cut it in half, and we shared it right then and there. And to this day, it's one of my favorite veggies from the garden. And many years later, when I became a grandmother, I knew I wanted to garden with my grandkids. And I like to think that things have come sort of full circle, because just the other day, my granddaughter pulled out the last kohlrabi from the spring, and she and I shared it in the garden. So that's sort of a long story, but the most important influence on me was my grandmother.
Well, is there anything that from your childhood, and I'll tell you why I asked this. My grandfather, he just turned 83. He will not eat blackberries. He does not want blackberry pie because he remembers as a child him being forced to pick wash tubs full of blackberries in the summer, and from then on he will never touch a blackberry or a raspberry ever because of that. Is there anything that's traumatic from that type of level in the garden from when you were younger?
I have to be honest with you, there isn't. I do have memories of gagging on eating beets at that age. Now I absolutely adore beets, but there are certain things that my family would fix that I just didn't like to eat. But no, I don't have really any traumatic memories of not touching anything now.
So why do you feel it's so important to have children work in the garden and be part of that?
Oh, wow. Gardening has so many advantages for kids, and I probably could go on and on about this topic, but I'll touch upon a few things. I would say the most important reason to garden with kids is that it gives kids the opportunity to really experience the miracles and the wonder of the natural world. And for many reasons these days, many of our kids are experiencing a disconnection with nature. And there are many people, like you may be familiar with Richard Louv, who wrote the book The Last Child in the Woods. He feels that kids are suffering from the side effects of what he calls nature deficit disorder. And I just think that is so timely at this point in time. Now, the good news is that more and more studies are showing that gardening can help children, and all of us, quite honestly, lead better lives and healthier lives. And it can help kids from becoming overweight and even help with anxiety and depression. But, kids are naturally curious about the world, so when you walk outside the door, and if you've got a garden, what are kids going to see? Well, they're going to find seeds, and you know how small those tiny tomato seeds are. You put one of those in the palm of their hand, walk over to the tomato bush, and explain to them that all those tomatoes that you see that we're going to be enjoying came from that one tiny seed. And it's just miraculous. They're going to find lots of bugs. Mostly kids are fascinated by insects. I know my grandkids are. You won't be in a garden for more than 30 seconds before you start noticing things like bees and spiders and butterflies and earthworms and the lightning bugs at night. And if you're lucky, maybe like we did last year, we found a well-camouflaged insect like a praying mantis. And kids are smart. They'll quickly learn to distinguish, if you help them, the good bugs from the bad bugs. And they'll really feel a sense of accomplishment by doing so. And, of course, they're going to see wildlife, rabbits and chipmunks and birds and frogs. They'll understand why you might be putting up chicken wire to keep the bunnies out of the beans, or why you might be putting the cabbage under a row cover to keep them away from the cabbage moth. And you're helping them understand that all these things are related. And eventually, they come to think of themselves as gardeners. And by watching you, your kids will learn how to do all the things that gardeners do. And they're going to be healthier because of it. You and I both know that all this gardening requires plenty of exercise on our part. Produce tastes a lot better when freshly picked. So children who grow up eating homegrown veggies are much more likely to eat them in adolescence and beyond. So I guess you can tell this is a topic I could go on and on about. But if one of your listeners is interested in gardening, but they don't know where to start, there's lots of help and support out there, and they just need to take one step at a time. We don't need to have a perfect garden. We don't need to know everything there is to know about gardening before we can teach kids how to garden. So I always tell parents that children only need a willing grown-up gardener, not a perfect one, to work alongside them. And if we're willing to do that, Mother Nature usually takes care of the rest.
Awesome. I definitely agree. Everyone, especially children, are distracted these days and love their electronic devices. How do you keep them engaged in gardening?
Well, again, that's a timely topic and an important one. Of course, it's important for us to model putting away our devices while we're outside and model for them that getting out in the yard in the fresh air and sunshine is just part of what our family does. But quite honestly, once kids get to elementary school, especially let's say third grade and beyond, this gets more and more challenging. They're using technology in school every day. Their friends are using technology. Now, I'm of the mindset that there can be a good blend of technology with the garden. I mean, how many of us have used the internet to look up why a tomato plant is having a problem, right? You can see the picture and help to identify the cause. But Mother Nature's pretty fascinating and has the ability to capture kids' attention. And So every so often, have the kids maybe conduct an experiment outside that uses instruments like a soil thermometer. Do experiments that check to see what kind of soil you have in the garden. Kids like science and like to do experiments, so provide them with the opportunity once or twice a month to do that. If your child has a science fair project to do, see if they might be interested in one that has to do with plants and horticulture. Check with your local garden center or library or CSA to see if they offer children's programming on gardening. My grandkids just finished their second year of an excellent kids garden club that was offered at a local garden center, and they just loved it. It's a way for kids to meet new friends and have another tribe to hang out with kids of similar interests. But we can use technology too. My granddaughter's at the age now where I can hand her my iPhone that still has the old iPhone that has the camera feature and ask her to go around the yard and take some pictures. And I love to see what she comes up with. There are interactive nature and gardening websites for kids that explain something, maybe, let's say, like pollination. There are TV shows about nature that are great resources for us. And so I think there's a way to blend the two together.
So we always have practiced or preached the use what you already have in the garden. And you've got some things. What are some items that you can reuse in the garden, for kids to make gardening easier that you don't have to go spend money on? And if they do, like, break it, it's not a whole lot of loss for you.
Okay. Let me think. Well, first of all, kids and water kind of go together like peanut butter and jelly. And so when you're working in the garden with younger children, now I'm talking about, first grade and under, let's say, watering plants is a great activity, and they will gladly take part in it. But watering cans can be less than kid-friendly. They're heavy. They do require some skill to use without wasting water. They empty quickly, and so you're filling up the watering can more and more, spending your time doing that. Garden hoses kind of fall in the same category. They're kind of unwieldy. So eventually kids get old enough to handle those, but in the meantime, you can do this really cool gardening hack. And there's a 2-minute video on my website, but let me explain to you how to do that. You get a hammer, a small hammer, a nail, and some empty plastic drinking water bottles, anywhere from 12 ounces to, let's say, 1.5 liters. The bigger bottles are for the bigger kids, and the smaller ones for the small kids. So put lids on the bottom, use the nail and hammer, and make about 6 to 10 holes on the lids on the top. And then fill these with water, and now you have a manageable, lightweight watering tool that even toddlers can use. And the water won't pour out all at the same time. They kind of have to squeeze it a little bit to get it to work. And I even use these. They're perfect for watering, let's say, window boxes where you don't want to lift up a heavy watering can, or to do containers around the garden or the patio. And so, again, if that's not clear, just go to my website and watch the little video that tells you how to do that.
That definitely is a great tip. Now, you referred to your website just now. How do people find out more about you and your website, especially to watch that great video?
Okay. Well, my website is called, appropriately enough, In the Garden with Grandma, and Grandma is GRANDMA.com. And it's been up and running since January of this year. It's where you can find my blog and download a growing list of resources that I have on gardening with children. Also, I encourage your listeners to email me with any questions that they might have and let me know what help you might be needing with in the garden. You'll find the link to that to that email on my website. Also, please follow me on Instagram and Facebook at In the Garden with Grandma, and I post tips and ideas almost daily about gardening. So that's where you can find me.
Well, Jan, we greatly appreciate you taking time out of your day to join Holly and me and share your gardening wisdom with all of us.
Well, I'll tell you, this has been a real treat for me. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And when we come back, it's going to be your garden questions and our garden answers right after this.
If you have a gardening question, now is the time to call in on the ivorganics.com 3-in-1 Plant Guard hotline at 414-444-5250.
Mycorrhizae is a beneficial fungus from PlantSuccessOrganics.com that will greatly increase your plant's germination ability and healthier root structure. You can increase seed sprouting, root growth, and general plant germination. Mycorrhizae can be used with hydroponic root cutting, seed sprouting, cocoa coir, and soil. PlantSuccessOrganics.com carries powder, granule, and tablet form of mycorrhizae. Increase the level of mycorrhizae in your soil to give your plant the optimal opportunity to produce incredible harvests. For more information and to purchase, visit PlantSuccessOrganics.com.
Garden seeds do not have to cost a fortune, just 99 cents at migardener.com. Now with over 450 varieties of non-GMO, heirloom, and organic flower, vegetable, and herb seeds available year-round. Pay less and get more seeds. Shipping as low as $2.50. That just makes sense. Go to migardener.com for seeds and garden needs, tools, and special blend fertilizers. migardener.com. It's that simple. Family owned and operated.
I know you're looking for natural and organic food, but at a great price. I've found the place. Woodman's has what you need. Woodman's offers a huge natural and organic selection with some of the area's largest organic meats, produce, and dairy departments. Shop consciously, but it won't break the bank. They have aisles of all the organic food, snacks, and treats you've been looking for, so you and your family can eat healthier without overpaying. Visit their Milwaukee area store locations, Kenosha, Menominee Falls, Oak Creek, and Waukesha, or visit woodmans-food.com to find the nearest location to you.
Zaz Products, offering great quality supplements that can help personal health and increase longevity. Committed to bringing you the highest quality products at the lowest price. Find out more at zazproducts.com. Tall Earth Wood Treatment, all-in-one preservative and stain, offers lifetime protection and creates a unique silver-aged wood finish. All ingredients are non-toxic, eco-friendly, perfect for garden beds and veg trucks. Find out more at tallearth.com. Free shipping on all orders. Use coupon code WISCONVEG to save 15% off orders placed at tallearth.com.
Do you enjoy hanging baskets but struggle to keep them properly watered? The Plant Booster Self-Watering System is a mechanical system that will ensure optimal soil moisture at all times by reacting to the weight of each plant. The weight of each plant tells the system how much water it needs. Unlike a timer-controlled system where all plants get water at the same time, whether they need it or not. Also ideal for condos or apartments with no outdoor water source. Check out details, videos, and extensive explanation and ideas for application at Plant Booster.
Blue Mel's Garden and Landscape Center offers an awesome selection of high-quality garden and landscape products. We have just the plants you're looking for: annuals, perennials, veggies, herbs, and more. Plus, you can always count on us to answer all of your questions and offer expert advice. Blue Mel's also carries the largest selection of bulk landscape materials in the area. Enjoy a beverage from our coffee shop while your kids run around in our huge playground. Join our growing list of highly satisfied customers. Visit the garden center that offers everything you're looking for. Visit Blue Mel's today.
Blue Mel's, 4930 West Loomis Road, 414-282-4220. The Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show is brought to you by the following: Flame Engineering, Eco Garden Systems, Bobex, Plant Success, Beans and Barley, M.I. Gardener, Outpost Natural Food Co-op, Root Assassin, Manure Tea, The Gardener's Hollow Leg. Find all sponsors at the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com and thank them for their support.
Now back to the Wisconsin Vegetable Garden Radio Show with your hosts, Joey and Holly Baird.
If you got a question, you can certainly call into the IV Organics 3-in-1 Plant Guard hotline.
IV Organic 3-in-1 Plant Guard naturally protects plants against damaging sunburn, insects, and rodents. Protects newly installed plants and trees, shields, prune, and damaged surfaces for use on your roses, fruit, nut trees, ornamental trees, and shrubs. This product is non-toxic, environmentally safe, and organic. For more information, visit ivorganics.com. You can call right now with your question or comment to 414-444-5250. We had a great question come in over the week. At this point in the season, I've got a lot of fruit development on my tomato plants, but virtually no flowers left, which worries me because I'm hoping to have tomato production into September and hopefully even October. What can I do to get more flowers to come along? Well, it depends on your tomato plant.
This is from Brian from Philadelphia.
I think Brandon.
Brandon from Philadelphia.
So basically there's different types of tomato plants. There's determinate and indeterminate and semi-determinate, and indeterminate is the vine. Determinate is like a bush variety, and then
determinate will grow a certain amount of fruit
it'll grow
and stop growing.
Mm-hmm.
Indeterminate will grow until the weather kills it or you kill it.
Right. And then semi-determinate is kind of a combination of both. So first of all, you want to make sure that if you do have a determinate variety, then you're probably not going to get continual harvest. It's just going to put that one harvest on. But if it continues to be a problem, if when the fruit is ready to pick, even if it's like half red or whatever color, yellow, orange,
it ripens from the bottom up.
It ripens from the bottom. So when you pick that, then it's going to continue to put flowers on. Plants are designed to reproduce, and that's what they want to do. If they feel that they are not going to have a chance to reproduce, that tomato is just sitting there on the vine, it's not going to continue to put flowers out.
You can also continue to water it, keep good water to it, and if the temperatures exceed 90, I think it's 92, 93 degrees, the pollen will be dead, it dies in the flower in most instances, and you're not going to get production off that, which we don't have that heat right now, and then based on the temperatures there, you want to just continue to pick your fruit, keep the plant watered, and you will have, and if it's an indeterminate plant, you will continue to have a production of tomatoes.
Yeah.
So
So
be patient.
another question is, can you mulch year-round? Is there a better time to mulch than others? You can mulch
There's
year-round.
no problem with mulching year-round.
Right. So you can mulch during the summer. However, it kind of depends on what you're going to mulch with. Like, for example, if you want to use leaves, which we highly recommend, definitely collect those leaves in the fall, get them onto your garden. They'll break down over winter. And
All of ours were gone by June.
Yeah,
And we put
so-
2,000 pounds in our garden.
we put a crazy amount of leaves in our garden. So you want to keep that in mind, is that you might have some spring mulch, but then plan ahead once they break down in June so that you can mulch throughout the summer as well.
Pine needles work very good. We have found, and the myth is pine needles will make your soil acidic. Not the case.
It's because they have been dropped from the tree.
Right.
And
They're acidic on the actual plant.
on the tree, but once they drop from the tree, they lose that acidity.
And we have found that it does attract slugs for some reason. We had a lot of slugs in the front yard garden that we had pine needle mulch on last year. Straw works very, very well. You don't want to use hay. Hay is the grasses. Straw is the stalk or the byproduct of the grain. So straw works very well. And it's the chemical-free dry grass clippings is also a good means of mulch.
So what that means is that if you have somebody or you yourself spray your grass with chemicals, you don't want to use that in your garden, especially if you are growing organically, because even though you may have cut the grass, it's dried, that can leach into your soil because chemical fertilizers are water soluble, which means that they cling to water, or not water soluble, which means that they cling to the water droplets, essentially, and then they continue to flow into the earth.
And even if you do not have something planted in a bed and it's fallow, there's nothing there, you want to cover that bed up to preserve and to keep the microbial life, the soil web, healthy. Anything in nature, prairies, non-agricultural fields, woods, they all have some type of barrier covering the soil to protect the soil life. So even if you have nothing going on there, cover it with something natural. Nature provides grass clippings, straw, whatever the case is, to keep that soil healthy. Because we've seen what happens if we have a bed that's exposed to the sun and there's nothing there. It gets dry, it gets cracked, it really looks dead. So keep that in mind. Cover up the soil, regardless if you're planting or not planting, and you're just going to let the bed go fallow for the year. So we harvested garlic this past week, and it drummed up a lot of questions on social media that related to garlic. So I'm going to address some of those. How do you store so much garlic and it won't dry out before you get to use it? We harvested at the Large Gardener video about 75 bulbs of garlic. Now, we've planted up to 150 before, and that was way too much. But 100 is about what we want. And in the sister-in-law, Holly's sister, we do about 20 there. So the way we dry it, we cure it. We let it dry entirely for 3 to 4 weeks. Then we trim the tops off and the roots off like you would see in store-bought garlic or farmer's market garlic. And we just keep it in a cool, dry place. air circulation, a cardboard box. You don't want to put this in a bag. You can put it in like one of them shelving units. Just allow it to have circulation, cool, dry place. Keeps for 8-9 months. You can get a year out of some of this, but that's pretty much the limit on the lifespan of the garlic. What varieties do you grow? Well, we grow a number of varieties. We don't specifically plant and keep those varieties separate to all the other ones. If the way you plant garlic, you take the largest cloves from the largest bulbs and plant them in October, and then you harvest them late June, mid-July, and those will give you the most opportunity for the largest bulbs at harvest. We grow Spanish Roja, Georgia Crystal, German Hardy, and Purple Galaxy. I believe is the only the 4 varieties in which we grow. And it's phenomenal garlic. When we give it away, we say use a quarter of what you normally would use with store-bought garlic because the intensity is so rich. It's not hot or spicy. It's just the richness of that the garlic. I have sweet corn growing in my backyard, and I noticed several of the corn stalks are very large, and then at the base there are new stalks coming out of the ground. Do I leave them alone? Do I pull them out? What do you suggest I do? Okay, so in tropical, I think it's banana trees, they call them pups or additional growths. They're like little corn stalks, and if you leave them alone, they're going to eventually grow. What you want to do in a backyard situation is just cut them at the base. Leave the mother stalk or the main stalk alone. Do not pull them up because you'll disrupt the roots and potentially kill the main corn stalk. Just cut them off to keep them from sucking up the energy in the soil that main plant or that main stalk has. Any of the secondary small stalks that are coming off the main plant at the base or growing secondary plants, just cut them off. You'll be fine with that. That will do it for the show. We appreciate you tuning in, as always, and taking time, a little portion of your day to join us. Program and note, join us next week when we're going to talk about watering. The hot days of summer are here and are more to come. Are you watering, and how often, and are you doing it correctly? As well as it's time to start planning to plant for fall, to get another crop of those cool weather vegetables in the ground for harvest before winter. Riley Brock will be with us, a representative of Imperfect Produce, a company that was founded on the premise to ship out and sell produce that is not perfect. More than 20% of fruit and vegetables in America that is grown on farms never leave the farm because they're not perfect enough for the grocery store. We're going to talk about how the company has made an impact on that wasted food that many farmers would throw out because they just will not buy the grocery stores won't buy the product. Miss any portion of this program or want to revisit it in its entirety, you can certainly do that by going to the radio tab at the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com and clicking on the radio tab there to see full in-studio video or download a full-length podcast form of this program. Want an individual interview or a specific topic or segment? Go to the highlight tab on the main page. Until next week, for Holly Baird, I'm Joy Baird, and we will see you in the garden.
You've been listening to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show. Tell a friend and join Joy and Holly again next week so we can all grow together. The Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show is a production of the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com in association with WI Garden Media Broadcasting, live from the WNOV 860 AM and the W293CX 106.5 FM, Courier Communication Studios in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.